Dear friends in Jesus Christ, in a quiet coastal village lived a young man named Elias. He was the only son of a widowed mother and worked with her on a small fishing boat. Their life was modest, but filled with love and deep familial bonds. Every morning before the sun rose, Elias and his mother would pray together and head out to sea, casting their nets and thanking God for the day's catch. One day, while mending nets by the shore, a group of travelers passed through the village. Among them was a man whose presence seemed to still the waves themselves. It was a missionary speaking of Jesus, of love that surpassed understanding, of a kingdom not of this world, and of a calling that required total surrender. Elias was stirred. The words ignited something deep in the soul. That night, he wrestled in prayer. The idea of leaving his mother, his home, and the familiar rhythms of his life cut into his heart. But the voice within him whispered, "Whoever loves son or mother more than me is not worthy of me." Matthew 10:37. The next morning, with trembling hands, he knelt before his mother and said, "I feel God calling me to follow him, to serve among the poor, the lost, and the forgotten." His mother's eyes welled with tears, not of sorrow, but of sacred understanding. "Go, my son. I gave you life, but he gave you purpose. Serve him well." Years later, Elias became a missionary priest in a faraway land, bringing the light of Christ to thousands. He lived in simplicity, owning nothing, yet was filled with unspeakable joy. He would write to his mother often, always ending with the same words, "I left home to find Christ, but in finding him, I found a deeper love, even for you." Dear friends, this story mirrors the spiritual truth that detachment from even our dearest ones, when done for the sake of Christ, does not diminish love, but purifies and enlarges it. It's not abandonment, but elevation in loving Christ first. We learn to love others more purely and selflessly. The world is constantly bombarding us with stuff. We are told that to be fulfilled, we need to buy this new gadget, that fancy car, that big house, get that high-paying job, wear these particular clothes, and many number of other things. There is a profound and dangerous attachment to the things of this world, which results in a damaged relationship with God, whom we are called to love above all else. In the gospel today, the Lord offers one of the greatest challenges. "If anyone comes to me without hating his father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, even one's own life itself, cannot be my disciples." In other words, Jesus made it very clear to the crowd that one who followed him was on the way not to worldly power and glory, but must be ready for a loyalty which would sacrifice the dearest things in life, and for a suffering which would be like the agony of a man upon a cross. There is the great spiritual principle that undergirds the entire gospel: detachment. The heart of the spiritual life is to love God and then to love everything else for the sake of God. But we sinners, as St. Augustine said, fall into the trap of loving the creature and forgetting the Creator. And this is why Jesus tells his followers today that they have to make a very stark choice. They must choose Jesus first, and everything else should find its meaning in relation to Him. When Jesus tells us to hate our nearest and dearest, He does not mean that literally. He means that no love in life can compare with the love we must bear to Him. Let me propose a few concrete ways to practice the spirit of detachment for the love of God, rooted both in Scripture and Christian tradition. First, make a daily examination of attachments. Ask yourself, what do I cling to more than I should emotionally, materially, or spiritually? Second, prioritize time with God over comfort or routine. Rise earlier to pray, even if it costs sleep. Fast from entertainment or social media to create space for silence with God. Third, be detached from outcomes. Do your best in your work, in your ministry, or in mission, but leave the results to God. If your plans fall through, say, "Blessed be God's will." Dear friends, let me conclude with an exemplary prayer of detachment by Saint Ignatius of Loyola. Take, Lord, and receive all my liberty, my memory, my understanding, and all my will, all that I have and all that I possess. You gave it all to me. Lord, I give it all back to you. Do with it as you will, according to your good pleasure. Give me your love and your grace, for with this I have all that I need. May God bless us all.